are you?
I'm doing well. Are you clicking all the things?
I'm trying to.
Mess.
We're using new software today, and because of that, I am a little bit nervous because we are actually on Instagram right now, as well as using new software.
Why not? Let's just do all the things.
Yes. So I can promise you that we are on Instagram. I just confirmed. But
Ah.
anyway, their first time. Hello, Instagram. We are live on multiple platforms, but with different software because we heard you about the audio issues
Mm-hmm.
and we did some testing and figured out that it was specific to that streaming software that we are using. So let us know. Hopefully, everything today sounds okay.
Yes.
It has, in our testing, worked better on this platform than the other one.
Yeah.
But anyway, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
We like to start our chats with news,
Mm-hmm.
of which there is very little,
So much news today.
to be quite honest.
There's
But
nothing.
the one thing that we do want to talk about is the fact that Space Mountain is testing a single rider line, which
Mm-hmm.
is very exciting.
Yes, and I think they've had like an I don't want to say unofficial single rider line. They
Mm-hmm.
just have they would as you got closer to that merge point, they would or the dividing point, they would ask you there if you're a single rider. So is this
Parties
something
of one,
different?
parties of two, parties of one. Yeah, it's a separate entrance.
Okay.
So that's what I like about it too, because a lot of attractions will call for parties of one, parties of two. And so when you get towards the end, you can kind of speed up. But the ability to enter a single rider line right from the beginning
Mm-hmm.
is so great. And it makes a lot of sense at Space Mountain. Everyone has their own seat.
Yeah.
And so I love that for Space Mountain. It is a test. It is limited. We don't know if it's sticking around,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of hope so.
I do too. I do too. I feel like that one's gotten easier to ride anyway, just with Tron being around, and of course, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It hasn't been as difficult of an attraction to fit in or to get like a second or a bonus multipass for,
Hmm.
but this will make it even easier and give you another option on how to speed it up.
Yeah, and we do have a list of single rider attractions, and it's not sharing the screen, I don't think, with you, right?
Nope, I can't see it yet.
Okay, actually, here we go.
I think you have
How
to
about
say
that?
enhance.
How about this? Boom.
Boom.
Okay, so single rider lines are available and we absolutely love them if you are adults only or you have like older kids that don't mind it. And they save so much time and it's like a great lightning lane alternative if you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to have a lightning lane or you already used a lightning lane. At Animal Kingdom is Expedition Everest. This is probably one of our favorites. The line moves so fast.
Yeah.
Test Track is another fantastic one. If you
Mm-hmm.
get in the Test Track single rider line early in the day, especially, you will walk on,
Yes, it is very quick.
even
And
w- even when the regular line's busy.
yes, and sometimes, I mean, if you're super early in the day, the way they're loading, you can be in the same car with the group that you're with. It's not a guarantee. It's just that they're moving through people so fast that that's happened to me multiple times.
100%. Remy's is another one that's available at Epcot. It's weird because it's a bench seat, so you're literally being put on a bench next to other sweaty strangers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's available. Hollywood Studios has a few. Rock and Roller Coaster is probably our least favorite.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
not, it doesn't really save a ton of time for whatever reason.
No, it
And
it goes so slow.
yeah, it's so slow. Smuggler's Run is a great one. Another one at Hollywood Studios. It's very efficient, but you do miss a lot of the queue.
Yes.
And you're probably not going to be a pilot.
No, you're very likely to be sitting in the back.
And then Rise the Resistance often has it, but not always. So that can be super handy if you don't want to buy lightning lanes and things for that. So we are big fans of it, but we'll see if the Space Mountain one. They remember when they were testing Soren as well. They were testing a
Mm-hmm.
Soren lightning lane.
Or a single rider.
Yeah, I didn't mean lightning. I meant single rider. Soren single rider, and that
Yeah.
that didn't stick around.
No, but that's another one where it feels like it would be a natural fit. But I think they do a decent job there to go through the line and ask, groups of one, groups of two, they to, fill in those spots.
Hmm. Disneyland is so different in this way, and I think that like in a primer of teaching Disney World people about Disneyland, this is on the list. It's like there's a lot more single rider lines out there.
Hmm.
So in a lot of ways, for like adults only groups, especially, it's easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just begs the question of like if it's not um if it's available there, why can't it be available at Disney World?
I, yes. Especially where it feels like Disneyland already has space limitations and they're able to fit it in.
Hmm.
Disney World doesn't have those same kind of issues with not having space. So it is kind of curious why it wasn't naturally brought in all the time. They did do like a, or like for Flight of Passage, they had one to start with. Like the signs were up for a single rider line, and then they did never use it. They just ask
Mm-mm.
for the smaller groups when you get closer to actual boarding. So it's kind of interesting how they do that differently.
Yeah, it is so interesting. So we'll see what happens at Space Mountain. But if you happen to be going anytime soon, look for the option for single rider.
Hmm.
It may or may not be available because they're doing limited hours, and we don't know how long they're going to be trying it out either.
Do you know? I haven't seen the this news. I full disclosure, I didn't read it this morning. But are they going through the same line? How are they getting the single? Where are they entering at?
It was a different line of some
A,
sort.
a different line.
It
Wow.
was like, yeah, it was a different queue, different line. So yeah, we'll see. It's not really built for it, but like some of the attractions are. Flight of
Mhm.
Passage is literally built for it. Remy's
Mhm.
is built for it.
Mhm.
So it's kind of funny they're having to finagle a single rider line over there. So all right, that's it on news. So we don't have anything else there, but we wanted to talk today about our favorite times to go to Disney World in 2026 if you are considering a trip, because we definitely have favorites.
Mhm.
Would you like to start? What's the first favorite time to go?
For me or just in
Hmm.
general?
Well, according to the article that you wrote and the list of favorite times,
Well, let me.
there's probably going to be a lot of overlap between what you like and what we think are the favorite times to go.
Yes. Well, and I think that's like a distinction because sometimes our favorite times to go aren't necessarily the times with the lowest crowds.
Hmm.
So I think that's something important to remember too is that like right now, maybe not exactly right now because it's extra cold. Lots of people like going during January and February because the weather's nicer. You eliminate that whole or usually the daytime shower issue, but you're going to have nicer weather and you also have though crowds because you've got holidays like President's
Hmm.
Day and Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday, and you've got races tossed in there. So in general, January and February, lovely weather times to go.
Yes.
Not
What about
necessarily
crowds?
best crowds.
Hmm.
Not necessarily the crowds are the best.
Hmm. But if somebody were wanting to go nice weather in January and February, what's the best times?
Well, for January, the best times for there would be the week after Martin Luther King. So, like after those dates, and then the weekdays for the most part. So if you can avoid the weekends whenever possible, because then you're not only battling the special events that they have planned on the weekends, which are going to be those cheer and dance competitions and whatnot. Locals also, the early months of the year when the weather's nicer, they really like it as well. So the weekends are always going to be busier.
What else? Here's our cow calendar if anybody wants to follow along. January and February, see those hot spots.
Yeah.
The red and orange love the weather. Hate
Yes.
hate the little red pockets.
I hate. And lots of people, if you went, in the 90s and the early 2000s, January and February, they weren't as busy as what they
Oh,
are now.
oh, absolutely not. And that's one of the things that we run into a lot. with putting out advice is people will say it's always been the best time to go and stuff like, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
no, no, it
Yeah,
things change.
things change, and Disney's gotten really good about plugging in spaces where the crowds weren't as busy with things that they can do to fill those hotel rooms, and they do it well.
Hmm. What's the next best time to go in 2026?
Well, if you hit like, lots of people, March coming up, spring breaks, it's a very popular time to go because it's March. Kids are out of school. Unfortunately, that means you're not the only family that's planning a trip, and so lots of people are going to be planning a trip to Disney World.
Hmm.
Early March is better than later March. The closer you can get to the first week or even the first 2 weeks of March, you're going to have a better time because of Easter being later this year. It's in April. That gives you that takes some of the pressure off of March. So if you do have to go to March, I still think you're going to have a great time. Go in with a plan. Just know the further you get into the month, the more hectic it's going to get.
Yeah, I will take a March spring break over an April spring break trip anytime. And as Heather said earlier, the better. So if you are like, I know the states that we're originally from, like Kansas and Texas, tend to be more
Mm-hmm.
mid March, and that tends to be a lot easier than late March or early April.
Mm-hmm.
One interesting thing as we get into summer is summer isn't that busy.
No.
And that might surprise people who have always thought of summer as super busy. But some years ago, I can't remember the year, but Disney World changed their ticket pricing for summer to make it super expensive. And then that deterred people. And the trend has
Mm-hmm.
never really reversed itself, which is why they're running so many promotions this summer, among other reasons. But it's just, they went from most expensive ticket to let's offer some promotions to get people here.
Yes, and I think, I mean, that's evident by the fact that I think a lot of those people who figured out that they didn't have to go when it was super hot, they could go earlier in
Mm,
the year, and the crowds have kind of shifted. School calendars have shifted a little bit too, which have made some months that didn't used to be busy, like January, February, October. Those months are now incredibly busy as compared to before. But summer, not bad. If you can handle the heat, you usually have a little bit longer park hours,
mm-hmm.
and
And
it's pretty great.
And this year, there's, Cool Kid Summer, there's their
Mm-hmm.
promotions, there's their free water park
Go to park.
ticket. On check in day, there's free kids dine free if ages
Mm-hmm.
3 to 9. So you just have to deal with the heat and the rain.
Yeah,
But
just those little things.
you'll notice as we get into August that it goes from yellow, which is just kind of like, mild, moderate crowds, to August, which is green, because a lot of schools do start going back in.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people aren't going in August. And that trend continues through September.
Yes, yes, even through the Labor Day weekend. So if you want a shorter trip, Labor Day weekend is a fantastic time to go because it's a holiday, but most people don't want to take their kids out of school so close to when school starts. So you don't get as many of those family travelers there. And the people who are going to be there are going to be people who are closer, who can drive. It's so
Hmm.
if you can do a trip that weekend, it's a great time.
Yeah. I think, while it is true that most holidays are busy,
Hmm.
this Labor Day is not one of them.
Yeah, Labor Day, Memorial Day, I would say
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And Memorial Day, incidentally, is also when they do kick off a lot of things for summer. So it can be, you know, kind of a fun time to be there
Hmm.
for that reason. Things do get busy the rest of the year.
Ah,
So October, November, December are very busy, but we do have a favorite time to go if you want to do holiday stuff, which
yes.
is,
So usually, if you want to do all of the holiday stuff and you don't want to miss any of it, because Festival of the Holidays over at Epcot doesn't kick off until the day after Thanksgiving, even though most of the other holiday stuff starts that first week of November. But if you want to see all the things, you want to see Festival of the Holidays, you want to see Jollywood Nights, you want to go to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, you're going to want to go as soon after the week of Thanksgiving as possible. That's
mhm.
going to be a little bit better time. If you're not so concerned about doing those things, about about doing Festival of the Holidays, if you don't mind missing that the week
Hmm.
before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, 100%. And in fact, like, I have a podcast with lots of trip reports, and the reports of people going during different times of the year and what they've experienced, it makes our crowd calendar come to life, because it's
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, that was a much less busy time to go do holiday things, which
Yeah.
is nice. So, anyway, those are our favorite times to go. It's always a balance of like weather, crowds,
Hmm.
prices, events that are happening. There's a lot of different things to consider, but it just depends what's most important to you.
Yes, and in general, the trends, I would say, are something that you can expect to see in future years. I do think we're going to continue to see January and February being busy. I do think October is going to continue to be busy. Lots of schools have added fall breaks in October, which is kind of what I think is helping that be
Hmm.
busy. The
Hmm.
time around Veterans Day, that time of year in November is busy. It was orange on the calendar. If you saw that, that's why that week is busy, because that week tends to have a lot of schools out as well. About the only thing you can't really convert from year to year are some of the special events and things like Easter. You have to take into account when Easter falls. That changes things a lot, um, because then not only are you talking about Easter, you're talking about Mardi Gras.
Hmm.
This year, Mardi Gras and President's Day are together. That's going to have a huge impact on the crowds in the parks. So those are things you kind of need to keep in mind too. If you're just now starting to think about maybe not a trip for this year, you're starting to plan, maybe you want to do it next year. So don't take you can't just take this calendar and apply it directly to 2027, and we'll have our 2027 calendar out in the next few months. um, but you can kind of look for the trends, and that will work,
Yes.
at least
And
for
that,
preliminary planning.
yeah, 100%. All right. I think that's it on there. Now we can read some comments that have come in. Let's see what people are saying. Um, Leslie says, "Good morning." Good morning, Leslie. Um, Ingrid, she says, that's quite an animation to pull up the comment, isn't it? My
Yes.
my teens and older kids love going back to single rider after we've been through once as a group with Lightning Lane. Yeah, that's a great idea, and it does give you a chance to like re-ride things because Lightning Lanes just use it once,
Hmm.
so it's like, yeah, good idea.
Especially
For
if they're not sure if they want to ride it, and they like
uh-huh.
use that lightning lane on the first time with the whole family, and then they maybe have some confidence to go do it by themselves again.
Hmm. And then Megan says, "Good morning, Shan. You're hard to hear today, so we'll see if we can get the audio."
We just want the
And then
audio to work.
Heather echoes, "I'm hard to hear." We'll see. We are absolutely trying.
We are trying, y'all.
Good morning, Christine. Is there an age limit for kids to do single rider or a height requirement? You do have to be 7.
Hmm. And the height requirement is the same, whatever, for the attraction. And I would say you need to be 7, and in addition to that, you also need to have a child who is confident enough to ride the attraction by themselves.
Hmm.
It would not be a good thing to get to the front of the line and then the child realize that they're going to have to ride it by themselves, and that could cause a lot of panic. So make sure that they are confident to ride it by themselves as well.
Yeah, and a lot of 7-year-olds aren't going to be.
Hmm.
So that's your call. And another comment from Ingrid, which is, where they squeeze in the single rider line in that narrow 2-lane hallway area
Great.
on space, and it's behind the scenes. It's like it wraps. It's a separate entrance. It's not the main entrance where there's just like those pathways down.
It's wild.
I know, right? So anyway, yeah, kind of a light day today, but gives us a chance to test this software and see how the streaming works. So we will not be here on Friday, but we will be
Hmm.
back on Monday to talk about the week ahead and what is coming up at Disney World next week, including a lot of stuff from Animal Kingdom, because the whole landscape of the park is changing.
Womp womp.
All right, we'll be back next week. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye.